Hey, Virgo, Mel, Intuitive Coach here, excited to bring in your June 2025 monthly reading. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, Virgo, welcome. What is coming in for you this month? We have the World at the bottom of the deck. Now, some of you may be traveling or preparing or planning to move, to relocate, or to maybe step outside of your comfort zone. You have the Wanderlust card here as a key theme. And I feel like your soul is longing for freedom. Your soul is longing to travel or explore new lands in some way or another. Now, this could be physically, this could be metaphorically, but I feel like you are getting clear. There's clarity coming in. Your three key themes for the month, you have clarity, wanderlust, and awakening. Now, the clarity energy is all about things coming to light. This reminds me of the Ace of Swords. So if you have felt a bit indecisive about your next steps, if you feel like you've been a bit disconnected, I see clarity coming in here where you are being divinely guided. This is about truth. It's about solutions. If there have been blockages, or if you feel like there's been some hangups, because I do see the Hanged Man here. So for some of you, you may have been put in a temporary pause in order to gain a new perspective on your life. And I see that you're releasing and letting go of old beliefs. You are in the midst of an awakening here. An awakening of the soul. And that may be why Wanderlust is showing up here, because it feels like there's a lot of growth, a lot of expansion and freedom. Feels like the big energy is coming in for you. Now, this is your gypsy soul asking yourself, what else is possible? What else can I create? Who else can I become? What else can I explore and remain curious about here on this earthly plane, but also on a soul level? So some of you are stepping out of your comfort zone and learning more about who you are on a deeper level, connecting to your guides, your ancestors, your angels. And I see that you have gifts that you've been activating. And this is about you not doubting your beautiful gifts, because you may be guided to put yourself out into the world in some way. This is also about backpacking, tourism, vacationing. You may be thinking about the next leg of your journey, perhaps retirement or a move, relocating as well. But I see for some of you, if this is career, you may be expanding yourself. Like I mentioned, putting yourself out into the world. This may have to do with online, like content creating, maybe technology. You may even work with like global or international people or businesses or companies as well. So I love Wanderlust showing up with the world. Now, the awakening energy is about you spreading your wings. You are being asked at this time not to play it small. You are meant to expand your horizons. This is about reclaiming your power, Virgo, rebirth, truth, and spiritual enlightenment. So there's definitely this awakening that is happening within your body, within your DNA. It's like your cells are waking up to the whole of who you are meant to become. So this is big energy, and you have some really beautiful major arcanas here as well. But at the bottom of the deck, subconsciously, you've been healing. You've been mending the cracks in your foundation here. This is about things coming together after a period of maybe a tower. You may have gone through a period where you felt a bit destabilized, and you've had to work on your sense of safety, your sense of security, and rebuild a foundational platform for yourself mentally, emotionally, or even physically. And I see a lot of repair work has been taking place, especially during your dream state. You may have had what is called psychic surgery done as you sleep. A lot of you have been astral traveling and healing through your travels. That can be part of the wanderlust. You may also have the gift here, Virgo, of remote viewing. You may be diving into like lucid dreaming as well, and really opening up that third eye chakra to maybe feel more clairvoyant or, see more images. But I also see a lot of you are clairsentient. So you may feel and you may have these clear knowings of intuitive hits that come through. So trust in the information that you're getting and try not to attach a specific, outcome. Like, oh, I'm not intuitive because I'm not seeing things. That's not the case. Sometimes we have more clairvoyance than others, and sometimes the gift is, in another clair. So trust whatever it is that is coming through your crown chakra. So you may be a healer. Sometimes the mending card is my healer card. And you see the beautiful blue flowers, which represent the throat chakra. So you may be using your voice, using your creative expression to speak up, to share your knowledge, share your story, share your wisdom with the world. So if this is what you are called to do, but yet there are underlying fears that you are addressing, fears of judgment, perfectionism, rejection, whatever it is that you have been working on, I feel like you are pushing through those fears, or at least facing them head on, in order for you to continue on your path of awakening. This is beautiful. Now, starting off, you have the Queen of Wands. A lot of you were working on rebuilding your sense of confidence, and it's been difficult to just jump into something. You've had to plan it out. You've had to kind of plan and use your knowledge, but be realistic about what you can do at this time, but also realize that you can tap into resources, that there's additional help, there's additional support. And if you have felt limited, I feel like the biggest limitation here was lack of confidence. And the Queen of Wands, when she's in reverse, she's working through her insecurities here. And it looks like you have been with the mending card, because when she's in the upright position, which is part of your awakening, she is magnetic. She is spontaneous. She is not only attractive, but she works with the law of attraction. And it's like everything she touches turns to gold. And in the past, it feels like maybe everything you've touched, it didn't work out. But I feel like you're letting go of that belief. You may now realize that you've gone through a challenging experience or something in your life that has actually strengthened your core. It's strengthened your abilities, and you can come out of this stronger, wiser, and better than before. You have the Six of Cups here in reverse. Now, the Six of Cups is the energy here of nostalgia. So for some of you, you could be missing maybe this old confident version of yourself. And some of you, you've been having issues maybe with your body, or accepting the aging process here, or there's been parts of you that, you felt unlovable. But I feel like you are saying, wait a second, the truth is that I am whole. The truth is that I am perfectly imperfect in the eyes of the divine, and you are the divine, and you're starting to remember this truth within you. You may have even gone through unhealthy past attachments where maybe this was based in your childhood. This may have been some wounding based on a past relationship, and it has left you feeling a little bit lost, a little bit insecure. But I do see here with this Six of Cups, you are going to reconnect to a spark within you. It's not the old version of you. You're not meant to go back into that old version of you. You're meant to come out stronger, wiser, and with more compassion, more heart, more soul. But I feel like that spark is something that is reigniting within your heart center. And you're going to feel like you have more passion for life. Some of you may have been working on your sacral chakra. You may have even gone through what they call a Kundalini awakening. And you may have gone through a lot of, inner child or shadow work, shadow healing. And I feel like you are coming to this pivotal point in your life. If you are single, you certainly could be attracting love, attracting passion, and putting yourself back out there. Why? Because you are magnetic, you are confident, you are bold, and you have everything you need to manifest a relationship that you want for yourself. For those of you that may be in a dynamic right now that you've been in for quite some time, you may want to expand your horizons, meaning you may want to travel with this individual, or perhaps you may want to make a choice to honor your soul's path and their soul's path by potentially parting ways. That's completely up to you, but I do see a huge turning point coming in. The Chariot energy is showing up for you, and we roll into Cancer season, which Cancer rules the Chariot, towards the end of June. So this turning point is happening now for you, whether this is travel, whether this is you feeling more bold, taking bold, courageous, spontaneous action, but this is about victory. And I feel like your emotional drive feels a lot more balanced. So impulsivity doesn't take over. This is about your goals. This is a fast forward energy. And I see that you're going to reach your destination, whatever or wherever this destination is. It feels like you are confidently moving in a new direction. Now, the Page of Swords showing up here says things don't have to be perfect, because sometimes we tend to scrutinize. And even if there may be some minor blips or minor news, embrace this with intellectual curiosity. So if there are some setbacks here, or if this is the mind that is trying to hold you back in any way, because the swords is the mind, sometimes this Page of Swords can be like the private investigator. And you've heard the saying, curiosity killed the cat. I feel like whatever it is that you are focusing on, that's what you're going to find more of. So if you go looking for something negative or challenging, chances are you will find it, because there's plenty of challenging, negative things out there. But if you are looking for things to go right, and that's what you're focused on, even if there's a minor blip that does show up, it's going to be like water off a camel's back, right? It's going to be something that, in and out. Oh, delay, not that big of a deal. I'm going to go sit at the new coffee shop at the airport, and I'm going to connect to this new individual and maybe exchange information and have a new work partner or have a new friends. It feels like there's some really amazing shifts that are coming in as long as you embrace them with curiosity. Now you have the Hanged Man here. The Hanged Man is the awakening. This is about you reclaiming your power and letting go of control. Letting go of the need to have things a certain way, or letting go of expectations of what something should look like, especially if this has to do with a relationship or a partnership of some sort, or, a move. It can be anything. But I feel like you're waking up to the truth of spiritual enlightenment, the truth of reclaiming your power, and knowing that the only thing that you can control is how you respond to life's happenings, how you respond to other people's energies. You don't have to take that on yourself, right? You don't have to, feel like you're out of control. And it feels like you've done a lot of work in this area. But the rainbow above the bat's crown chakra here says that you have this new mindset. You have this new perspective on life, and it's colorful. It's bright. It's exciting. So keep your ears open. The bat's ears are highlighted here. And remember, bats use that sonar, that sound, to depict information. And I feel like you could be receiving signs and symbols through communication, through what you hear, through downloads. Some of you, clairaudience is really heightened for you this month. And you have the High Priestess, the unknowable. If something feels off for you, Okay, if this is something of the past or someone that you've already been entangled with, there may have been some secrets that kind of wake you up to the truth. There may be some secrets that you've held back on. Maybe you felt like you've been stuck in this situation and your intuition is saying, I need freedom. I want out. You have to honor and trust that, even if it means you're making some difficult choices. I feel like that's what's truly going to bring this Queen of Wands in the upright position. This is going to be you feeling magnetized, feeling powerful, because when the Queen of Wands is in all of her glory, she's a natural leader. She's creative, she's artsy, she's intelligent, she's protective, but she's bold, and she will give life. She has a pregnant belly here. She's going to give life to this new cycle here. And I feel like you have something beautiful coming in. And even though it may be a bit scary, you're not quite sure what's on the other side, I feel like you are coming to the edge. You're coming to the edge of this wood line. You see on the Chariot, she's been in the woods. Perhaps you felt like you've been a bit lost, but clarity is coming here. And I feel like part of this clarity is saying, okay, ready or not, but actually you are ready. You are ready because you have the world at the bottom of the deck. You've gone through the fool's journey, or the hero's journey, if you will. You have come this far. This is the last card in the major arcana. And it feels like you are closing some chapters of your life. And yes, there may be a grieving or mending process. That's very natural. That's very normal. Try not to bypass that grieving. Allow your emotions to come up and be what they are. You know, you have to heal them. You have to feel them to release them. Let's look at finances. What do we have for finances? Wealth, money. Ooh, we have the luck of the Irish. Now, some of you could be going to like Ireland, okay? Some of you could have some Irish background or descent. Some of you may even meet someone who could have maybe red hair. Anything you do now will be very prosperous for you. This is beautiful. This is luck and fortune. If you believe that you're lucky, you'll create an abundant mindset. We talked about that here. That's why that Page of Swords is showing up, because we don't want to scrutinize everything and focus on everything that's going wrong. We can focus on the things that are coming in for us, the blessings, the opportunities, what is going right. And you're going to start to see more of that taking place. Your perspective is stifling your growth and stamping your luck. You have the perspective card with the Hanged Man here. So I feel like perspective is shifting for you, and it's allowing you to get in touch with your own intuition, because it feels like the mind was blocking intuitive hits. And I feel like that's what is awakening within you. You're reconnecting to that intuitive space within. And you're letting go of what you preconceived notions you may have had about a situation, about a person, or even yourself. So when it comes to work, you have the business card here, and it says, don't be intimidated to enter the world of business. You got this. That's the Queen of Wands. When she is standing in the upright position, as I mentioned, she is confident. When she's in reverse, she can feel a bit intimidated, and other people can be intimidated by her. But I feel like you are entering into this next phase, and you may be looking at contracts here. Perhaps you are connecting to like a legal team. This may be for a business, maybe even getting an LLC. It may have to do with taxes. Some of you may even be dealing with the court systems. There may be money coming back to you that way. Don't be afraid to step into your power and claim the life that you are meant to live. Some of you are considering executive positions, maybe becoming the CEO of your own business. It can even be climbing the corporate ladder in some way if that's what you are wanting. But I feel like you are all about business, but also taking your business to the next level, whatever that may mean, taking your career to the next level. It says elevate your awareness and think bigger if you want different results. There's that expansion energy. So this is a month of expansion. This is a month that you are waking up to ideas. You're waking up to your power. And I see that there's clarity here where there may have been fog prior. You have the Rose card, some form of financial relief coming in. You could receive monies that were owed to you. Maybe this is like a pension. It could be some form of back pay or support, child support, alimony. It may even be money that you've overpaid. You could get a check back. It just feels like there's going to be some money that helps you out this month. It may even be like an inheritance or a small win. But I feel like you are content, all right? But you may want more to be able to not only have what you need, but buy what you want as well. This is wants and needs. You are in a supportive role. For some of you, you may support others through your skills, your talents. And I feel like job security has been maybe a little bit back and forth, but you are growing. So we see a repetitive theme throughout your reading here. And the theme is growth, expansion, and even abundance. So you may be opening up here to the sweet rose. Now, we all know that roses have thorns, and it feels like you've been pricked a lot by those thorns that the rose had held, but now you're able to reap the rewards of the sweet success that the rose brings in. You've been pruning your rose garden, if you will, and I just feel like things are starting to blossom here for you when it comes to career, and you may be full speed ahead with that chariot. It feels like you are excited to move forward, but don't let the mind come in and start to doubt yourself or say, you have imposter syndrome, or do you really have what it takes to grow or build this business or to move into this new position? Don't let the mind hang you up here, because your intuition knows that this is the path that you are meant to be on. Now, when it comes to love, partnerships, family dynamics, and even self-love, you may be familiar with the term addiction. Perhaps this is something you yourself have struggled with, or you've watched others struggle with addiction. Now, addiction is more than just drugs and alcohol, and not just like I'm minimizing it. It feels like you may have known codependency. You may have dealt with people with emotional blocks who may have lived in escapism. It can be addicted to work, addicted to their job, addicted to external validation, addicted to social media, to shopping, to things that are unhealthy, an overabundance, a surplus here, maybe of food. It feels like there were escapism tendencies because vulnerability or intimacy was feared. It was something that felt foreign to this individual. And it may have even created obsessions or possession here with the control piece coming in. And I feel like you have been restrained in some way, or you felt very stuck due to this addictive energy. But I feel like that's what you've been mending. You have the chaser, fear of abandonment, chasing, and codependency. So we have two cards that say the same word, codependency. So maybe that is what has kept someone stuck, because we can be codependent on someone's love, even if it's breadcrumbing. We can be codependent on a job because it financially supports us, even if we don't love it. Right? Codependency can show up in many different facets of our lives. And for those of you that rings true, if you haven't already checked out Melody Beattie's Codependence No More, that is a wonderful resource when it comes to this topic. And lastly, we have the blowing kisses here. This reminds me of one of those movies where the character is walking away from the explosion and it's in slow motion, and it's like they're blowing a kiss back to the flames. So it may feel like you're walking out of something that it got blown up a bit, and it feels like you are You're saying goodbye to the past here and you're fully embracing what's ahead. This is about giving and receiving. And if that hasn't always been the case in the past, that's what you're leaving behind. I feel like this is affection being returned, fairness, reciprocity, and unconditional love. You're focusing on what is best for you, regardless of relationship status. You are wanting to keep your own peace within. You have worked on boundaries. I feel like you've drawn a line in the sand between you and others. And I see that you've come to this place now where you're feeling more confident about yourself, about your journey and your path ahead. And when you are confident, there's no stopping you. Not even that page of swords, that mind energy can stop you. When that chariot's here and that chariot's aligned emotionally, because the chariot is ruled by Cancer, and that can be our emotions. It feels like this is firing you up and you're saying, I am moving forward. I am not going back to that disaster or that, blowout that may have happened here. You're trusting your intuition. You're waking up to the truth of who you are, where you are meant to be. And I feel like you're taking the necessary steps to get there. So this is beautiful. Now, some of you are maybe walking towards marriage, okay? Or you are completing a cycle that is ready to be moving. You're ready to move on to the next level, right? You've completed a cycle with the World card at the bottom of the deck. So when it comes to love, you're wrapping up this cycle of love and you're entering into a new path, a new journey, either with or without someone, but it looks like you're trusting your intuition here. That is what you are called to do, is listen. Listen to that voice within, because that voice knows better than anyone else. And you're not listening to what everybody else thinks what is best for you. This is you choosing for yourself. And then lastly here, your archetype, Virgo, is Thanatos. Thanatos. I'm just going to find it here for you. One moment. All right. We have, Thanatos representing death and rebirth. It is tempting to oversimplify death and sum it up as transformation, but the true archetypal resonance of Thanatos cannot be easily assimilated or contained. Death is ongoing and omnipresent, an eternal response to the gift of birth, witnessing the ending of another being, creature, phase, or stage has deep consequences for the psyche. We are forever changed by Thanatos as it sweeps us under its wings, making us relinquish control in every form. It leaves a mark of ash upon our heart, signifying we have touched the cusp of the underworld and will return to the land of living eventually with more compassion and wisdom to share. That is the wisdom card here. That's that energy that keeps showing up for you. This capacity is needed in our world. One who has faced Thanatos can face anything. When this card appears, it signifies an initiation into the underworld. So for some of you, you have brushed the face of death. It could even be that you yourself have gone through a near-death experience, or you have lost someone that was close to you. And I feel like that could be the underlining energy of mending here. And now you are rising up. There's this part of you that has been changed forever. Now, when it's showing up as the light aspect, which I do see clarity, and we do see the sun that is crossing here, the ocean. This is about grieving, mourning, and bearing witness to all that is. When it's showing up as the dark, it can be fear or insensitivity to old age, illness, or even the dying. Facing Thanatos leads us to Aletheia, which is truth. And you have the word truth showing up here. This is big. Now, death doesn't have to be physical death. It can be a death of an old life. A death of, an ego death here, the death of a situation, but still there's that mourning process, the grieving, which we've talked about here. It's very much a part of the process. You gotta to feel it, to heal it. It says here, there are those with a great gift for you navigating Thanatos energy. Thankfully, we find these generous souls in emergency rooms, hospitals, hospice centers, and the like. Now, this could be you. Some of you are emergency healers, okay, of some sort, or you may be mediums. Remember that spiritual gift that we talked about earlier? Some of you are tapping into the underworld and maybe connecting with loved ones who have crossed over. If you want to go deeper into this energy, Virgo, check out The Mower by Philip Larkin. Now, I'm not sure if that is a book, if that is a poem. So The Mower by Philip Larkin. Now, when it comes to health, I want to brush up on that because old age is mentioned here. And sometimes the world can represent symptoms of aging, and we may judge or criticize or scrutinize, because that's what it says here on the Page of Swords. Try not to fall down that wormhole of scrutiny with this Page of Swords, but embrace curiosity. And I know that that is easier said than done. Some of you may be saying, well, Mel, you don't have this pain, or you haven't gone through this, but I can have that compassion and that empathy for you. And I feel like there are resources, there's help here. You don't have to do this alone. And even if it feels at times like you have hit a rock bottom, there is a shift, there's a turning point coming in that is renewing your life force energy. And I do feel here that you are expanding the way that you've done something. And if it hasn't been working, some of you are expanding in your healing. There's some new truth coming out here. And as it says, when you have come face to face with Thanatos, you come face to face with Aletheia. And that's the truth of the matter. And some of you have radically accepted that the old version of you no longer exists, but what is being reborn, because that's the phoenix here. What is being reborn is a wise, compassionate, strong, determined soul that is having this human experience. And I feel like you have wisdom, you have knowledge to share. That is what I have for you, Virgo. If this resonates, please hit the thumbs up button. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you haven't already. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. Lots of love.